I have a friend that I've known for about 4 or 5 years. We're both the same age. We're older gals and, around 60. And I've noticed that, when we first started our friendship and I would come over for dinner, she would have a glass or two of wine, and okay, that's fine. But now over the years, I see the increasing symptoms of excessive alcohol usage. She does 2 or 3 glasses of wine a night, overworks, poor boundaries, those kind of things. And I don't mean to be judgmental, but it's kind of what I do for a living, so I can sort of see what's going on. And I tried to sort of gently confront her in that, I'm getting into a new health regime and watching what I eat and, sugar intake and stuff like that. And I kind of mentioned, I thought, okay, we'll come around the health route on this. And I said, that what you drink at night, I said, that has carbs, if you can just sort of cut it back. And she said, yeah, I know, but I like it, or it's worth it. And I was like, okay, so resistance. And I've noticed since then, she's sort of like not calling as much.
Yeah.
And, we're still friends and stuff. And I think, I'm just getting maybe too close to home, but I'm like, I would know how to do this, how to confront, right? How to just sit down and have that real talk if it was my family or if it was in my profession, no problem. But with a friend, I'm like, how do I manage this? How do I do this?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when I got a call last night that I was not expecting, and it was a huge emotional weight. And I called a friend, and actually I called 2 friends, and I said, hey, I need y'all to help me walk through and think through what my next move is, because I can't carry it by myself. And I asked them to speak into a really wild situation that just got dropped in my lap.
Yeah.
The difference between my situation and your situation is your friend hasn't asked for your input on this thing.
Nope.
And so I got 2 different answers, by the way. Both were tough to hear. Both contradicted each other, and both, this is going to sound strange, is exactly what I need to hear. But I asked for it. And so you're up against a friend who hasn't asked for your input in their health, hasn't asked for your input in their alcohol consumption or how they're doing, and yet you as a friend, like I would, feel compelled to say, hey, I love you, and I want you to know I see you, and I know you, and I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
And so when you're giving wisdom to somebody that you care about that did not ask for your wisdom, it may cost you the relationship.
Yeah.
And I always have to ask myself, am I okay with losing this friendship if this person gains their life?
Yep.
Or do we have good enough friends? I've got friends, I'll say it this way. My friends, my longtime friends, they're not healthy guys at all. Like comically so. They're just not. But we're such good friends that we hassle each other all the time over it. All the time.
Yeah.
Right? If y'all aren't there, then for me, that gives me a signal of the state of your friendship. And you just have to ask yourself, you know what I mean? Like I'll ask my buddies, are you seriously having another drink? And they'll be like, yeah, what? Oh, you're just not good. And I'll be like, you're an idiot. And they'll be like, you're an idiot. But we are in a relationship, and they know that guy cares about me. And occasionally they'll not have another one. And occasionally they'll have 2 just to spite me, right? Just to be silly. But that's the nature of a 30 or 40-year friendship. In your situation, I don't know. And I'm thinking about this out loud in real time. Let me ask you this. What's your goal? What's your goal of a hard conversation? That she would suddenly go, God, I never thought of that before. You're right. Or is it that she's going to get mad at you, but then behind the anger, she's going to be sad and be grieved and know Lauren loves me?
I don't know. My fear is, like, I see the progression of the illness, right? I see, more cognitive, how it affects your ability to reason and be logical and to see reality as it is, not as you would like it to be.
What do you do for a living?
My dad died. I'm an addictions and mental health therapist.
Okay, so let me ask you the other side of that equation. Could it be that she struggles with seeing reality as it is, and alcohol helps take the edge off of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes we attach the causality to the other side of the chain.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's a person who struggles with anxiousness all the time.
Anxiousness, yeah, definitely anxiety. Even her daughter entered into counseling. Her daughter's in her 20s, and she's been now suggesting that her mom do this. Like, so I feel, and I just affirm that when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, well, maybe that's something. But my friend has a history, from what she's told me, of, spousal abuse, domestic abuse, there's a lot of addiction in her family of origin and extended family. So I know, there's probably sexual assault, it's probably like full on.
All right, Lauren, can I challenge you on something? We're friends now.
Sure.
And I'm smiling, kind of. Is that cool?
Okay.
Have you ever been able to, well, are you thinking about the carbs with somebody in one of your programs before?
No.
No. You can't circle around the wagon on this conversation.
Definitely.
It's either I'm going to go straight into this thing and say, hey, I need to just tell you as a friend who loves you over 4 or 5 years, you've been a close friend of mine, and I've actually found myself like I really care about you. And that means as your friend, I got to tell you I'm worried about you.
Yep.
And you don't have to get into you don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to get into the sexual abuse. You don't have to get into this and your daughter. And
Nope.
I am worried about you. And if they invite you in after that, if she invites you and says, why are you worried? Man, I've heard this. You told me this story. I told me this story. I'm just worried about you. That seems like the best path, and it might cost you this friendship.
Yep.
But I also think
I know
you wouldn't be you if you aren't the kind of person that would have that conversation.
Nope. Bang on.
Can I tell you she's lucky to have you as a friend?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's funny, I actually had a situation like this before I went into, the career that I'm in with a friend, good friend, really good friend, right? And he crossed the boundary. It wasn't sexual or anything, not of that nature, but just cruelty. And I drew a boundary with him and said, I'm not talking with you when you're like this. And I hung up. And I didn't hear from him for like 5-10 years. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I got a call from him. I mean, he was so angry with me. He didn't even invite me to his wedding. He was like a brother, right? We were like brother and sister. And then I got a call from him that said, I'm sorry about that. I'm an alcoholic. Right? So I'm thinking this is going to be the same kind of thing. You're right. This is the way God knitted me. This part of my personality. And honest to God, I feel like if I don't confront her on this, if I sort of people please the situation, right, and kind of like walk around eggshells on this, if she were to die from this illness, I would feel like I should have confronted her.
Yeah.
Right. And I watched my dad die. Like, I know how this goes, so I can already see the signs in her. Right. And she thinks she was like, oh, it's worth it. And then she thinks she's just going to drop dead one day and it's going to be great. She'll drink and get to stay in that. And I'm not criticizing, but it's like, yeah, she's using it for a reason, right? People use because they're in pain. So she's using it, to stay away from that pain as much as she can. But she doesn't understand you're going to linger in illness. You're not just going to be taken like in your bed asleep at night and everything's going to be fine. You're going to suffer.
Yeah. So I want to challenge the training you and I both got, okay? Because the more I'm out into the world, I think we were trained on one aspect incorrectly.
Okay.
The path that I've been wrapping my head around recently is that you can't be in a relationship with somebody unless you see them. You got to know that they're a different person than you, and then you have to get to know them.
Yeah.
And then you got to celebrate them regularly. And those three things give you permission to challenge them.
Yeah, there you go.
But where you and I were trained is you never criticize.
Right.
And I think that leaves a look at our culture. that says you just go do you, and whatever you feel like is the next thing you want to do, it's the right thing. And we're watching our families dissolve. We're watching our culture dissolve. We're watching our friends die.
Yeah.
And so if you can look in the mirror and say, I have seen her. I know she's different than me. She's got lived experience. She's got childhood tragedies. I've got my own childhood stuff.
Yep.
I know her. I know she's struggling. I know the language that she speaks. I know what she cares. I know her. She's my friend. Yeah. And I celebrate her regularly. I call her to let her know, dude, you crushed that. Your daughter's amazing, whatever. That buys you permission to then, I got to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I love you too much. It would be not loving you. As a therapist, it's dishonoring to watch somebody. It's cruel just to watch a client spiral and not say, hey, stop doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
And so here, it's one of those moments, I think criticism is a right move if you are in a relationship where she knows she's loved.
Yeah.
Then that's the most loving thing you can do, is to put that on the table.
Yep. I agree. It's interesting. I started watching your show, I don't know, about 2 months ago, maybe more. And it actually gave me license to go in a direction that I always wanted to go, which is I'm very pragmatic. Like, I don't want a person in my practice, like, coming for 3 years. It's like, no, like, let's get to the root causes. What's driving this, right? And then let's figure out a way out of this so that you can just go on about your life and actually have a good life. And you just come to see me when you want, I don't know, like a tune-up or something.
Amazing.
Right?
I remember, I think I've talked about on the show, I remember when the person I see told me on day one, my job is to work myself out of a job with you. And I remember thinking, I can trust you.
Yeah.
That's my job, is to help you get well so you can go get back out on the road.
Yeah. I'm
amazing.
Extremely pragmatic.
Good.
Like, I was educated, here it's university, right?
Sure.
And I won't even get into all of that, but I'm like, no, how does the academia, how does theoretical, evidence-based stuff, how do we actually, like, plug that in and exactly what you just said, like, let's solve this, right? Like, life. And one of the things I picked up is life isn't solved, it's managed. It's just, okay, how do we put together something where you can manage your life well and live well in amongst the insanity that this world can become sometimes.
That's right. And here's the thing. You know this better than any of us. Alcohol works. So I would look at your friend and say, hey, you're not broken. You're using a tool that has worked great for you, and it's going to kill you.
Yep.
And so I'm not dishonoring you. I'm not telling you that something's broken. I'm telling you that your strategy for keeping at bay the hellhounds that have been chasing you since you were a little girl.
Isn't that the truth?
The thing that has kept you safe and taken the edge off of that pain has actually worked. And only people who spend times with people who struggle with addiction know that. Alcohol is not the problem. The sex addiction isn't the problem. It's the solution to a black hole inside somebody's chest.
Yeah.
And so I love you enough to enter into that black hole with you for a minute and to say, I see you, I'm worried about you, and I love you. And the moment you're ready, I'll be right here.
Yeah.
I'll be right here. And then similarly, like my buddy John, who's like, runs an HVAC company. When I need help with my air conditioner, I call him before I call a mechanic. I'm like, hey, is this thing working? Is this the right thing? And my friend who's a banker, I call him. And similarly, they happen to have a guy trained in mental health stuff. So when they got challenges, they call me. And what an amazing thing that her new best friend happens to be very skilled at sitting with people wrestling with alcohol.
Yeah.
It's a skill. I'm not going to hand you my wrench, but if you ask for it, I got it right here in the back.
I honestly feel like it's a God-given, like, this is my purpose.
It's awesome.
I've known that since I was quite young, but now I've been able to enter into, because it means one thing to have that as your purpose, but then you also need to be competent. So you need to get your education and your training, right?
You got to know what you're doing. And then you have your own lived experience too, which I think adds that third leg to the stool of wisdom.
Yeah.
right? You've coached
Definitely.
people, you've had your own experience, and you went and got the education. You actually know what you're talking about. You didn't quote unquote do your research on Google or whatever people say these days. Like you went and studied it, right? So you're the perfect person. But if every time my friend John came to my house and he walked around and started telling me about my air conditioners, I would just get annoyed with him real fast. Right? And so if you show up to your friend's house as an addiction specialist, that's not why she invited you over.
Nope.
But it's letting her know, hey, I see you, and I love you enough to tell you that I see the struggles you have. And the moment you're ready to call somebody about AA, to go see a therapist, to go whatever, I will do everything I can, use every skill I have, every contact I have, and I'll be the first person at your door to walk with you. But I can't keep my mouth shut anymore. I love you too much. I love you too much. And that might cost you the friendship. But you will know I treated her with dignity. I treated her with respect. I treated her with honor. I treated her with truth. And I hope she will know, even if we disagree, that, man, I'm loved.